Dear student, in our 1-minute revision lesson today, we will be discussing question number 2, which is an 8-mark question from paper 3 unit, Education. Here, the examiner typically asks you to explain any 2 things. Remember, we need to keep the marking criteria in mind to ensure that we do not lose marks. Always remember, we get the first mark for making a point, the second for explaining that point, the third mark for using appropriate sociological material, and the fourth mark for explaining how that sociological material supports the initial point made. Now, leave a line and use the same criteria to write the second paragraph. Let's begin. The question is, explain 2 reasons why intelligence tests may not accurately measure educational ability. 8. One reason intelligence tests may not accurately measure educational ability is because they often reflect specific cultural norms, which may disadvantage pupils from different cultural backgrounds. Sociologist Kleinberg highlighted this issue by demonstrating how IQ tests include questions that reflect the experiences and knowledge of certain cultural groups. For instance, in his study with Yakima Native American children, he found that the children performed poorly on an IQ test that required placing wooden blocks into corresponding holes in a frame. The children had no problem with the task, but they scored low due to their slower pace. Kleinberg argues that this does not indicate low intelligence, but rather a cultural difference, as the Yakima community did not prioritize speed in tasks. This shows how cultural bias in intelligence tests can lead to inaccurate assessments of educational ability. Another reason intelligence tests may not accurately measure educational ability is the influence of genetic factors, which may not be considered by these tests. Sociologist Murray argues that intelligence is largely inherited, estimating that 60 to 80% of an individual's intelligence is determined by genetics. This challenges the assumption that IQ tests fully measure educational ability, since these tests primarily focus on cognitive abilities, ignoring the genetic influences that may shape a person's intelligence. According to Murray, IQ tests fail to capture the broader spectrum of abilities, including non-cognitive skills like creativity, resilience, and social intelligence, which are also crucial for educational success. Therefore, IQ tests may not provide a complete measure of a pupil's educational potential. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.